Build in the SEC Conference. We're going to build the best football program in the SEC Conference.
You have now arrived at Stadium in Gale.
The kick, it's been blocked again! How about it? It's been blocked again! It's going to heat one deep down the field. It's going to be to the goal line. It's going to be gone! It's a touchdown! And the Gators have won the game! Tyree Cleveland! How about it? I can't believe what I just saw! Dropping back to throw. Thompson fires the ball over the middle. It's Dory! It's Dory! Got a touchdown! Dory's got a touchdown! Oh, man! Dory's got a touchdown!
Ahmad Black, in his final game as a Gator, takes it all the way home and sends Urban out the winner.
You have now arrived at Stadium in Gale.
Boys and girls, ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of Stadium and Gale. It's your favorite Uncle Silk.
It's Dan.
Dan Delatorre.
Same corner, same time. Brethren, how y'all feeling?
Man, I've never felt better. You know, had a couple of music events this weekend that I went to. I went to a rave, and then I went to about as country music of a country music concert as you can go to. Shout out to my boy Paul Salmons, Elliot, CW. Ran into a couple Stadium and Gale fans as well at the Mike and the Moon Pies show. What a weekend!
What's that?
Mike and the Moon Pies, first ever show in Tampa. Silk, I think you would have gotten down with the steel guitar.
Would you want to be one of the Moon Pies, Silk?
Oh.
Like if you were in a band with Mike, he's like, hey, I'm gonna call the rest of you guys my Moon Pies. You're like, maybe not.
Back out. Yeah.
Maybe not. We'll find another band.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you.
Crunch kind of guy.
Yeah, that's an odd name, but fantastic music. I played a couple rounds of golf, shot well, so things are on the up and up over here in Tampa. Nick,
Was this a bachelor weekend, Dan?
it was. Yep.
Okay.
Brooke
Can't
and her
spell-
mom.
Can't spell Bender without Dan.
That's right. I think you can, but anyway, but no, Brooke and her mom went down to the Dominican Republic. It was her mom's 70th birthday on Valentine's Day. So happy birthday to her. So they were down in the Dominican Republic. So I used this opportunity to rave, golf, and listen to some good old-fashioned country music and drink a couple tall boy PBRs.
What a mix. Rave, golf, and listen to a steel guitar.
Yeah, now I see a car driving down the wrong side of the road. What a time to be alive here in Tampa. Nick, what's going on with you, buddy?
We've come to that part of the year where my weekend segment is I was at baseball. Nothing to report.
Successful weekend, man. Baseball got busy this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Softball's getting busy too.
Yeah. You sent out a tweet say you're gonna stop your lying ways about baseball, man. How you feel? We'll get into some baseball talk, but how do you feel after the first weekend?
Well, listen, I'm still Bart Simpson at the chalkboard, Silk. I'm not going to overhype this team. They had a good weekend. Who was it? You need to beat the teams you're supposed to beat the way you're supposed to beat them. They did that. Right. Charleston Southern was one of the worst defensive fielding teams I've ever seen in now my 11th season of covering college baseball. They had some good pitchers, but my goodness, they were terrible in the field. Florida gets a 10-run rule Friday, Saturday, and a shutout on Sunday. So successful weekend. They're back on Tuesday, Wednesday at USF Tuesday. Dan,
really?
At USF Tuesday, and
in your neck of the woods, you got to pull up.
Are you gonna come down, Nick?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. My interest has waned a little bit. I'm sure it would be fun. But I didn't get to watch any of the baseball. I don't know if they were on TV. If they were, my apologies. Obviously, had a few other things on the mind. But when Scott Carter comments, Scott Carter, friend of the program, writes for FloridaGators.com, comments about the team's need to go back to the fundamentals of practicing. Just traditional baseball, is he's not one to throw out those kind of small little jabs. So you knew it was bad.
Baseball's a hard game, and I rarely go after teams. At some point Saturday, I was just like, screw it. I'm done with this team. I am tired of watching them throwing baseballs over each other's heads, kicking it around. Straight 5-hole, Silk. It's like when Junior was back playing T-ball. That's what I watched. That's what I watched this weekend when Charleston Southern drove down to play Florida.
It's the type of performance I expect from a program like Charleston Southern, to be honest with you.
And then somebody, the Charleston Southern fan, got on me because I put that they were in the wrong conference, and I was like, well, that's just my error. You should be used to that. This is the baseball team that you're watching. My goodness,
Nick. You know what? It just all came back to me why you're not going to show face down in Tampa tomorrow, or Temple Terrace. You are hated man number one amongst the USF baseball fan base, aren't you?
I should drive down.
Yeah, you should.
I should drive down.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring out a sign and say, "Where's at Delatorre? It's Calabash." You know, trying to get it on TV.
You know what? Public enemy number one might have to drive down to Tampa tomorrow. Email their SID and get a credential.
I get security, man.
You
should. So
what happened? Oh, how's my weekend? Oh man, just more silk ball. I was LeVar Ball again this weekend. Just running my kids around, just living their dreams. So just working out. We got 7:07 practice today, even though it's President's Day. We're gonna go out there and do some things, but just working out with my son. Took my daughter to the beach, did some meditation out there, and hung out a little bit. So 3-day weekend, just family vibes, hanging out. Not a whole lot, bro. Enjoyed the glow and the ambiance that was still on my soul from the Billy Napier interview. So I was still just basking in that vibes, you know.
Silk, you're a dog dad for at least a little while, huh?
Temporarily, I step in as a dog father to my sister purchased a dog and don't really walk it. She vacations and travels the world with a puppy in my mom's presence. So my mom got stuck with the dog, and she's definitely not gonna walk the damn dog. So I go do my step dog father things, duties and whatnot. Help my sister out a little bit. I do not want a dog. I've had dogs when I was younger. I was like 23, 24, around that age. Dogs are a real responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
I have kids to feed, and I want to care after them. So I don't want to be a full-time dog father just yet. Maybe when my daughter goes off to college, I could probably get a dog or something like that. But right now, I'm not. I don't have the time.
Yeah, definitely a lot of work. I was playing single dog dad. Some may say one of the hardest jobs in the world over the past 4 days.
Single dog dad.
All right, boys, let's get started. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. As always, we want to thank Alan Horn, who is the presenting sponsor of Stadium and Gale. If you are looking for home, auto, renters, business, life insurance, whatever the case may be in Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, or Florida, give Alan a call at 706-692-2888 or visit him at alanhorninsurance.com. Again, with State Farm, that's Alan, A-L-A-N, Horn, H-O-R-N-E, insurance, the normal way.com, 706-692-2888. All right, boys. Q Lee has responded. I loved how you didn't let Napier off the hook, Silk. You stayed on him. Pause, but do want to discuss the Billy Napier interview. First off, we appreciate everybody that tweeted it, watched it, listened to it, commented on it, reached out to us about it. Really enjoyable time with Billy Napier on Wednesday morning. If you haven't checked that out, it is in your podcast feed as well as available on YouTube. But gentlemen, looking back, Silk, you threw some haymakers there at the end, question wise. But overall, good interview. What did you guys think?
Well, first of all, I want to give you your flowers. It's a team effort around here, man. Good get. You know, I know everybody want to guess who got the Napier and all that, but you know, I appreciate you guys, bro. I just want to say that shit, man.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate everybody on this platform. We all have a role. We all play it well, and everybody can't be down Billy throat pause about you know, Dan leads this show for a reason. You know, I want to sit back and sniper certain things if we have guests. And I could play that role. I love Dan leading, but great get, my dude. You know what I'm saying? That was a monumental moment for this platform. We've had some great guests. I think we lead the league in great guests, but that was king right there at a pivotal moment in our platform. So much appreciated, my guy.
Absolutely. No, it was a long work in progress. We appreciate the Florida Gators PR staff and SID and those that were involved in making that happen. Really big for the platform. I think really good for the fan base as well. It's, to our understanding, Billy Napier's first ever podcast ever that wasn't associated with maybe ESPN or the SEC network, but really enjoyable time. He hung out. You can kind of tell when somebody is enjoying their time. Looking back on it, man, it was just such a cool 25 minutes for this show and for the fan base as well. And that's, ultimately why we do this, right? We enjoy hanging out together each and every week with you guys, but being able to provide some of that insight to the Gator fan base is what we're doing this for. So, a lot of coach speak, a lot of traditional answers there, but definitely some interesting tidbits. Silk, what was something that you maybe took away from that?
I thought you got to coach speak as much as you can around that. I thought he articulated himself well about the rivals and losing to those guys. It was just.
Did you give Corey your internet?
Get better.
Oh.
I like that he addressed.
You're good. You're good now. You broke up for a second.
I lagged out.
Yeah.
I lagged out. I like how he
his hamster got you.
I like how he shout out to the hamsters, man. It's the Barack Obama internet on President's Day. That's what it is, man. It's lagging a little bit. I like how he did address like the offense and how different it is going to look next year, and the progress he expects to see from an executing standpoint. I asked him about that middle eight. I thought he hit on that very well, and there's some things that we can hold him accountable to if things don't change middle eight wise, and some of his coaching decisions, and also just the rivalry. I wanted to know exactly how they're approaching this offense because we've never seen anything like that as far as losing rivalry. I understand the situations and where we at as a program. I just wanted to hear from him vocally, like exactly what his thoughts was on those topics. But I thought he did a good job. I thought everybody did a great job with the questions. Everybody couldn't. Billy would have got the hell up out of there. We all was drilling him with haymakers, right?
Right. Nick, what did you take? Obviously, you've heard Billy Napier speak, in person, dozens of times now. Were you able to take anything away from the conversation on Wednesday?
Yeah, he has a unique ability to say a lot of words that don't mean a lot of things. And we joke that he kind of like he'd be a good senator because he kind of like filibusters himself because he speaks a lot. But I think I think it was either to my question or to Silk's, but when he was talking about it was to Dan's question about the coaches, and when he got into, you have to look yourself in the mirror, create a plan. What did I do well? How do I need to do better? And that's not just for himself, but for all the coaches. And I think when you look at, I think there's going to be close to there's only 50 scholarship players left or 45 scholarship players left from 2022 into 2023. That's a ton of turnover. So the coaching staff, and then when you consider AR is gone too, this offense is going to look completely different. So I think it's going to take a great coaching job from Billy Napier and the rest of the offensive staff to come up with a plan that isn't like, hey, when stuff breaks down, Ant, do you mind running 80 yards? Because you're not asking Graham Mertz to do that. So I think that was something I took away, is that everyone kind of gets like homework after the season's done. It's like, hey, I need your ABC 1, 2, 3 plan of how you're going to be better next year as a better coach, motivator, and developer.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I think, he talked, a lot about, first year struggles, right? And I know a lot of times we just assume that you should be able to just transfer in and, bring your success, no matter what your roster is. And, one could argue, there's certainly coaches that make that transition a little bit simpler, but, a lot of us knew that Florida's roster was pretty broken going into last season. There's certainly some good players, but there was definitely some holes and some gaps there, as well. And, talked about building out what that staff looks like. And they brought 100+ people, from coach and off the field staff together. And, that takes a little while to gel. That takes a little while to, have everybody on the same page of what are we trying to do, what are we trying to accomplish. And there's, different tendencies, there's different things that people do differently, and trying to gel and mash it all together is challenging, right? I mean, when you think of, on the business side, when a team, experiences rapid and expansive growth, there's going to be challenges. There's going to be, personalities that differ. There's going to be people that work really well together. There's people that not work really well together. So I think, dealing with a lot of that, when you consider the absolute overhaul that Florida did, to the entire football department, it is something to really think about and say, wow, that was a, super challenging year. There's probably a lot of people away from families and kids and trying to acclimate from, long-term, hotel or, apartment to a house and getting situated, getting their kids in school, a lot of things that are on, people's mind beyond just, football. And I know a lot of times we think that, these coaches are robots and they should be able to just, get right in, wake up at 4:30, be at the, at the workout facility at 5 and stay there until 8. There's a lot more that goes into life than that. So, really good, Silk, great questions there at the end about rivals and about the middle eight. I know that a lot of the fan base really, appreciated that. And I do think it's important to, ask those kind of questions and hold ourselves, accountable as, a podcast to questions that the fan bases are asking, or the fan base is asking. So, great questions there at the end. And, wish we had a few more minutes to touch on a few more things, but certainly really appreciative to Billy and his time.
Yeah, overall, I got to say, I really do, and I'm not one, as you can see, we like to keep it just fair and just be realistic, and also break things down, not just be one extreme or the other. Fire Billy, or he needs an OC. Try to get to some understanding of everything that he's trying to do. I had more questions that we just couldn't get to because everything's he's a busy guy, you know what I'm saying? So those last 2 questions that I got, we squeezed those in, but they was trying to get out of there already. So
yep.
I do get the overall sense of I believe in what he's building. Just keep it a bean. I think it's going to take some time. I think he learned a lot at Bama and Louisiana with doing his own thing and building that program up and resurrecting that program to what it is now. We got to just be more realistic of where the University of Florida was at when he got here. And I don't think a lot of fans, we live in this nostalgia sometimes of the glory days, but the program that Dan Mullen left, it just wasn't suited to go win the SEC. It wasn't suited to really beat Georgia. It was going to be on the heroics of Anthony Richardson's talent last year, and he just wasn't good enough and seasoned enough to carry us. But overall, as a program, the best guys on that roster last year was guys that he brought in from Louisiana, who normally wouldn't be Florida caliber kids that he recruited. So I believe in what he's building. He got to figure out the quarterback position. There's a lot of Mertz. We'll talk about that a little later. It's a lot of Mertz, better PR, I would say, that's coming off now than when he initially got there. People are starting to get a little bit more rational about what he could possibly be. But he got to figure out the quarterback position in the second year. I think year 3 is the year for him. And I think he mentioned that on the show as well, on that interview. But he can't afford not to make a bowl game or show progress in year 2. So that's where I'm at with it. But I do believe in what he's trying to build, from the quality of players he's bringing in, the way he got the staff built, the way they recruit. I just believe in what they're trying to do. And we'll see if it all comes into fruition and develops into a winning program.
Absolutely.
Smash that like button. Shout out to my man Frager's journey in the comments. That helps us in the algorithms. We trying to build this channel up. I'm a person that's competitive, so when somebody say, "Hey, your YouTube is lacking," I'm gonna get on that, man, because people think that makes you a bigger platform. Then I got to show people, right?
Absolutely.
So smash that like button, comment, beef in the comments, ask us questions, use that super chat, holler at us.
Absolutely.
Beef in the comments.
Beef in the comments. There was a lot of beefing in the comments last episode. I wish you guys could go back and look at it. I mean, there was a whole nother podcast debate happening during the middle of our show last week. With that being said, Silk, you kind of mentioned the quarterback battle. I do want to we're just a couple weeks away from spring football starting. Obviously, the quarterback position is one between Graham Mertz and Jack Miller that we are looking forward to seeing what the outcome is there. But what position battles, maybe on the opposite end of that you're excited about, are you guys most looking forward to?
Man,
go ahead.
Nick. No, I had a mouthful. Pause. Woo.
Yo,
what?
Hey, Cam, edit that out. I can't let that get to the streets.
No, Cam, leave that in.
Yeah.
Come
on, Nick. All right.
Okay. All right, that's all for the show this week. We'll try again tomorrow, I guess.
Same quarter, same time.
Yeah.
I think there's a bunch of positions. Outside receiver, I need someone to step up. I think Xavier Henderson probably has one of those spots locked down. No question about Ricky Pearsall locking down the slot. Like who steps in? You got some guys that have been there a long, long time, but haven't really done much. Can one of these new guys, Andy Jean, Aiden Mizell, step in and get reps or even a starting job outside? Middle linebacker. I know people like to talk down on Amari Burney and Ventrell Miller. I thought they both had really good years last year. You're losing 150 games of experience at linebacker.
I'll tell you what, they showed progress, man, by the end of the year. I know Bateman got to fix some recruitment stuff, but I will say that the linebackers, Burney definitely showed progress by the end of the season for sure.
Amari, listen, you can say what you want about Jay Bateman, but Amari Burney was here 5 years. He played his best football by far last year.
Absolutely. Nick, another name, Caleb Douglas is maybe another guy that's going to be fighting for one of those starting outside wide receiver spots as well.
I'm glad I let Nick go first because I was going to say receiver because I believe we got some young killers that are going to come in and take some spots. And I'm glad they get some spring reps. They kind of learn the offense and then go from there. But receiver is a spot where you just letting the guy know his route. As long as they got chemistry with the quarterback, but it's easier to come in. The farther you are away from the football, the easier it is to come play as a true freshman. You can play right away. So I do like the receivers being very competitive in this spring, and we probably see some guys jump the depth chart in the spring in that room because those guys are just. I think Andy Jean is probably the best route runner in last year's class. I haven't seen absolutely every wide receiver, but from the most I've seen from the top-notch guys, he's an elite route runner. And then we have top speed with I forget Eugene Wilson.
Yep.
If he's healthy and everything's right with him. Physically, he's gonna come in and challenge some guys from just the ability to be able to stretch the field. Ricky Pearsall is gonna have that slot kind of locked down, but everything else, I do like Caleb Douglas a lot. To be real with you, I think he's gonna solidify him a spot, at least be in the rotation. But these young boys are definitely gonna jump in, man.
And Caleb is a quarterback until his senior year of high school, so still green, still new, learning that position and the intricacies of it. Like, listen, you can be athletic. And they're going to say, like, hey, we're moving you to receiver because you're athletic. But, you'll see the difference in, a Caleb Douglas his first year and Andy Jean when you're talking about someone who's been a receiver his whole life and just the way of getting off the line, getting separation, running routes, breaking stuff off. I think you're still seeing the evolution of Caleb Douglas as a receiver. But yeah, I think we're going into year 3 of him now being a receiver. So you need to start seeing some of that progress and some of that. Less thinking and more just, acting.
And then you have, let's see, some other names. You have Ty Bowman. Do we have a spelling on the hyphenated first part? So
I asked him, we got him, and I asked him how to pronounce it, and he pronounced it for me. But there's not really an English way of saying it. Okay,
so I'll call him TCB. So you have Ricky Pearsall, and then you probably have like a Eugene Wilson TCB back up to him. You have Xavier Henderson, probably Marcus Burke behind him, and then you probably have Caleb Douglas and probably Jaquavian Frazier. Does that sound about right?
I don't know why I thought Burke left. I don't know what role.
Yeah, he got kicked off the team, and then a couple guys went to Billy and said give him another chance. So he got another chance. I think he sat in the doghouse for about 9 weeks and then got some playing time, but he'll be around for spring ball.
Yeah, no, I would imagine you're going to see a lot of, Mizell, Jean, and Wilson this year. Obviously, 3 of the highly rated guys that Florida has brought in over the last few years at the wide receiver spot, a little bit more natural at that position too, a little bit shiftier, a little bit speedier than maybe what, Billy Gonzalez was going for out of his wide receivers as well, but definitely a talented group coming in. A couple other things you guys mentioned, linebacker. That's certainly going to be something to look out for. Can Derek Wingo make that next step up? Yeah, I am curious to see tight end. You have Arliss Boardingham, who didn't play this season very much. I think he played maybe in the final game of the season against Oregon State. But, is he going to have an opportunity? You still have Keon Zipper, you still have Dante Zanders, but Florida just didn't really do anything with tight end last year. Wasn't able to really bring in a ton of talent to accentuate that position this season. So you have Arliss Boardingham, Keon Zipper and Dante Zanders being those guys. So
and Hayden, what's his name? Hayden something. Can that tight end position be more than just an extension of the offensive line?
Right. I mean, they're not even an extension of that right now. I don't think those guys are big time blockers or anything like that in this offense.
Hayden Hansen.
Shout out to Hayden Hansen. Quarterback battle. I mean, people are just giving the job to Murder Mertz. Shout out to Mertz, Graham Mertz. The transfer came in from Wisconsin. But Jack Miller is right there, man. I think he's not going to fold. It's going to be interesting. And I don't want people to overjudge him for that bowl game. But I'm just ready to see what that competition looks like, whatever it may be. I want to see how it shakes out, the reps at the end of the spring. Does Mertz separate himself from Jack Miller? You know, is there a gap, or is it even and they taking this battle into fall? And are we looking for a Porter quarterback possibly sometimes before fall? I don't know, but I think that's an interesting battle that I'm gonna watch throughout spring because hopefully that's sorted out at the end of spring.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes into fall camp. I think the baby's been thrown out with the bathwater. People saw Miller have whatever glorified practice in the orange and blue game last year, and then listen, keep it a buck. If that game wasn't one in Las Vegas and then two early enough, you might have had enough players to say like, "Hey, coach, I'm not playing the bowl game." That Florida actually might not have been able to play it, but you get an opportunity to go out to Vegas. It's on December 17th, which means you can go home, be with mom and dad for for Christmas. That's appealing to 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old guys. So I don't think that there was a great team effort in the Las Vegas Bowl. And that's not all on Jack Miller.
No, that's exactly right. Obviously, they were missing a few starters on the offensive line too. Didn't give him much help. You know, Gators just had a bad game. It's going to happen. You know, it's tough to get up for that Las Vegas Bowl. Obviously, Oregon State got up for it, but at the end of the day, we look into a new season there. Offensive line, certainly, you're replacing a couple of starters and
center's the spot.
Yeah, is Kingsley Egwukan still, going to be the center, this year. I know that there's a lot of excitement about Mazkua and George, the transfers, as well as Kenyatta from Kentucky. Austin Barber played Keontae. Sorry, Keontae. You corrected me a few weeks ago. My apologies. Austin Barber, a guy that was an SEC all freshman. Team member, is going to probably have a starting spot, Richie Leonard, but you're replacing Richard Garage, you're replacing Tarquin, you're replacing Ethan White, and you're replacing Rashad Torrance too. So, not all were starters, but certainly significant playing time, as well thrown in there. So, certainly that's going to be something to look out for too. But, with Stapleton and Rod Sale, I am encouraged by, what they were able to do in year one. I think that you bring in some good talent and, I think the offensive line should be certainly a position of strength again.
How do you think the center? You got Ugunku? How you say his last name again?
Egwukan, yeah.
Egwukan. You got him penciled in as the center starter. And what do you have?
Yeah. I think you. How do you not pencil him in? He's been the starter there 2 years in a row. But I think you look at Jake Slaughter's the guy that's played there. And then the one that I think will really push him, and he's going to be a starter in my mind at either right guard or center, and that's Richie Leonard.
Right.
There's just no I don't think any job on the offensive line outside. I'd probably use a pen to put Austin Barber in at left tackle. It's baseball season. I almost said left field. To put him in at left tackle. But other than that, I think Micah Mazuka is your left guard. A battle there at center. And then can Keontae take the right tackle spot, or is that going to be George from Alabama? And if Keontae takes the right tackle spot, can George slide into guard? I think he's more of a guard than a tackle. And based on what I watched in that Iron Bowl from 2 years ago, I think you want to slide him in and have a guy on either side of him. And then you might have a battle there at center. But 2 years of experience means something. So I think I think Kingsley is definitely the guy that starts off at center when camp begins.
Did you see the video of Keontae Goodwin running a wide receiver route? Not sure exactly why he was doing it, but for a guy that's pushing 400 pounds,
he's just trying to let Billy know, like, hey, when we get down there inside the red zone, if you need an offensive lineman that's eligible, I'm here.
Yeah.
Nick, who's the other name that you're thinking at center?
Jake Slaughter would be the third.
Jake Slaughter. Okay.
Jake Slaughter, Richie Leonard. Those are Slaughter, Leonard, and Egucon are the three guys that really practiced there last year. Okay. And maybe there's somebody else that we'll see on March 4th or March 5th that's taking some snaps. But I think those three are the guys that I'm looking at that spot.
Awesome.
On defense, you're probably looking at the star position. I think the outside cornerbacks are kind of figured out. I think in my mind, we're pretty solidified there with Marshall and Jalen Kimber, or no, even Devin Moore. Like out of those three guys, you get your starting two.
You got fourth too with Jaden Hill.
Yeah, Dan's guy.
The season goes as he goes.
Yep.
Not this year. We're not gonna start that this year.
Dan's already said it.
No, we can't. We're just gonna act like it didn't happen.
Dan hit me with that meme, the two astronauts meme, where the one's like holding the gun to the other astronaut's head.
Always was. Man, I can't use that after I said about Cormani McClain about being a Florida commit, because I was talking to old Breezy. I don't normally talk about recruiting, but I put that meme out there, and John Ruiz got a hold of it, and the rest of the internet did too.
Nice.
Always was a buff, Dan. Always was a buff.
Big day for him on Wednesday. He has to report his quarterly earnings. So maybe we can post it's a scam. It was always a scam. Who knows? Anyway, what else you got on the defensive side of the ball? So,
yeah, I think just the outside corner is kind of solidified. So figuring out, I think star is going to be open competition. It should be. I don't know who wins that battle. We bringing in some young guys that could play. I wouldn't mind seeing Sharif Denson and some of the young boys getting some shots. I think highly of Jakeem. And what he brings to the table, but I think he's more of an outside guy. I think opportunity-wise, Jakeem, he'll get in the rotation, but I think Sharif Denson has the opportunity to jump in early. They see him more at the star position and playing some outside, but early he'll play some star. And I think safeties, it's also outside of five, Kamari Wilson. Like what's the other side? Like who's really battling that? I think it's open. I don't think there's nobody solidified and that's earned anything at the other safety spot. So safety and star are gonna be ones that I'm gonna watch this spring to see how it all pans out.
Yeah, and I'm looking to see five make a big leap this year. I think that there was some learning moments for five last year. I think he came in and played well. Sometimes, but there was definitely some plays that you allowed to happen because he was a freshman. So hopefully we can see that next big jump from him, because he's obviously exceptionally talented, but definitely some missed tackles, definitely some Will Hill reads, out of that safety position at times, but I can definitely see a big
Safety's
improvement for him. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Is Miguel Mitchell that guy? Is it Castell? Is it Thornton? And where's Aaron Gates slide in? Is he guy that's going to play in the back end? Is he going to play star? Is he an outside guy? I think there's so much versatility from the defensive back class that Florida already has on campus. That's something I'll be watching. Just where are they sliding these guys in?
Yeah, and that's certainly going to be, Florida infused a lot of talent. They obviously have a lot of names. They have a lot of stars in that backfield. Now it's a matter of putting it all together. I'm excited to see Jakeem Jackson. I actually got to play golf yesterday with my buddy Sage. Appreciate him listening to the show, even though he's an FSU alum. But he coaches 7-on-7 and he coaches quarterbacks in the Sarasota Bradenton area. And he said, and I've quoted on this show, that he thinks Jakeem Jackson was the best cornerback in the state of Florida last year. So I'm excited to see what he can do. I think that Florida's got some great talent. Jason Marshall, I think that this is his money year, right? He's been at Florida, was a 5-star recruit, has been a starter for 2 years now. An opportunity for him to make that next leap and hopefully move on to the NFL for his sake. But, definitely want to see a little bit more out of him. And, excited about what Kimber can look like coming back from injury. I think he was injured a couple times last season, playing with a club for part of the season. Had that touchdown on the interception return. So you saw glimpses of his athleticism. You saw, Dante Moore, or not Dante Moore, who am I thinking of? Name you just mentioned. The kid that they can
Devin Moore.
Devin Moore. Devin Moore, you saw a lot of, things about him to get excited about. So there's there's so much stuff, in the backfield that Florida has in terms of talent, in terms of stars, in terms of what you're looking for. Now, a matter of putting it all together. And, I think Corey Raymond is obviously the best coach, cornerbacks coach in college football right now. And then you've got Patrick Toney on safeties. But, now is the time for them to leap. There's no longer, the names that you're traditionally used to yelling and screaming and numbers on the timeline. So there's going to be new names, and this is their opportunity to step up, because Florida's going to need, in my opinion, the defense to really step up next year, because it just had an off year, but another year to learn the system.
Can't blame it on zero anymore.
Can't blame it on zero.
We'll find a way. I hope they find an edge rusher and another star or safety in the portal before fall. We still got some time here, just for depth and a little bit more secure. I sleep a little better at night if we were to address edge rusher and safety or star in the portal. I think we need one more edge rusher.
Man, I'm excited about Princely. The opportunity for him this year. I thought he played really well last year. Another season as a starter.
Big time.
Curious to see what they're able to do at defensive tackle too, right? You bring in a transfer from Louisville. Not a lot of production there at Louisville. Didn't play a ton. Desmond Watson, but you're replacing German Dexter. So, with that, you plug in somebody that played, I think he played the most snaps of anybody on defense last year, definitely the most snaps of anyone on the defensive line last year. So no matter what you thought of his production, in his 3 years at Florida, he was still a guy that was playing, 60, 68 snaps a game. So definitely a lot of interesting position battles. This is probably going to be the year where we've seen the most change and turnover in terms of, kind of those long, consistent names that have been starters for a long time at Florida. Moving on.
It sounds like a salesman job for my internet essays. But I think there's more intrigue in this spring ball just because you have so much turnover. And like I said, you think there's 27 new guys on campus that you lost 30, I think, or 35 between NFL and the portal.
Remember when I said the Gators are going to lose like 25 and people are like, there's no way.
Yeah. Well,
beat it by 40%.
Dan knows. Dan knows Gators. That's the new segment.
Dan knows Gators.
What's y'all feelings on Graham Mertz? I see the PR is getting a little better. Fans are getting a little bit more rational and trying to be some fans are. Some fans are still just.
Who was Andy Jean's quarterback in high school? So I feel like Andy Jean is brand new. He's had a high school quarterback. So he gets in to a college setting where he's not going to talk bad about his quarterback. But he's also, he's got a 22-year-old man who's started 32 games in college. He probably thinks this is the greatest quarterback he's ever seen. I think people are talking real greasy off of Andy Jean just supporting his teammate. And I think Graham Mertz is a less athletic Anthony Richardson. And we all need to come back down to earth a little bit.
And 2019 All-American Bowl MVP. Can't forget that.
Long time ago.
The Gators have 2 of them right now.
Look at that.
None of the freshmen that came in hyped Del Rio Appleby. So that's where I lie with it.
You hyped Appleby.
I'm a fan. I didn't hype Appleby. Let's be clear here. I got
some Del Rio
more standards. Didn't hype Del Rio. Now, by that time in that regime, I was ready to fire everybody.
Okay.
So I didn't hype anybody. I was just fed up as a fan. But I do think there's a little bit of substance. Him calling him Joe Burrow and saying that type of thing could happen. I mean, it's a possibility. We just seen this happen so many times with guys changing teams, coaches, and getting a new shake at it. I think this is probably going to be one of the most explosive. If these guys turn out that they could play early, I think Graham Mertz is going to see some guys that he never seen as far as speed-wise, separation-wise, that he can throw to. I like that offseason buzz of, he's looking good. It's better than bad news, right? They could be just like, yo, what the hell did I just sign up for?
That would have been a wild comment. It's like, yo, I thought I was coming to college. It looks like I just transferred high schools. Who is this guy?
I thought I was coming in with Rashada. He's not here. That could be a whole thing of, yo, I'm bolting. I only have a quarterback that came in this class with me, let alone the 22-year-old transfer. All right, screw him. But I'm just glad to see these guys are getting some type of chemistry going. And the fans are getting a little bit more rational. Let it all play out. We could lie when it's time to lie, don't lie pre-spring. I didn't hype up on this show. We didn't hype up or trash the Graham Mertz acquisition, and we're not going to do it now. You know, we're going to let it all play out, and then we'll go from there and be rational about who he is as a quarterback and where we are as a program.
Yeah, and I think it's important to remember, you know, Graham Mertz, you know, played last year at a coach that got fired right in the middle of the year. So there's,
Correct.
you know, there's a lot of turnover. There was a lot of change there. And, you know, we can argue till we're blue in the face whether Graham Mertz is going to be successful at Florida this year or not. But, you know, time will tell, right? You know, the game's going to kick off in Salt Lake City either on a Thursday or a Saturday. Hopefully they decide that soon. But it's going to kick off and we'll see, right? You know, how does Graham Mertz fit into the Billy Napier offense? You know, he's got two, you know, great running backs in ETN and Johnson. You bring in Trayon Webb, you know, you bring in the Tulane transfer as well. You know, Florida's got some talent at the running back position. They've got a good offensive line. They've got some weapons at the wide receiver room that they hopefully can pan out. And then maybe somebody will step up in the tight end room, whether it's, you know, Hayden Hansen, Arliss Boardingham, or Keon Zipper, you know, whatever they're able to do. You never know how those 11 players are going to mesh compared to the 11 players that he had meshing at Wisconsin. So, you know, he's got some good film. He's got some bad film. He's got some, you know, film that you can shake your head at. And there's film that you're going to look at and say, hey, maybe if he can do that a little bit more consistently, you know, Florida can, you know, be in a position to be successful next year. You just don't know. But, you know, I think Bam here made a good point, you know, showing confidence. Someone is the greatest confidence builder. Confidence builds effort. So I'm excited to see what he can do. Obviously a very highly talented kid coming out of high school. I think he was a top 60, you know, player, you know, in his class. So he has some talent. Now it's a matter of putting it together, but, you know, hopefully that competition breeds excellence with Jack Miller and Max Brown. And then I don't think the Gators are done adding a quarterback to this cycle as well. Any final thoughts on position battle? We went through all of them. So I guess we're excited about every position battle.
No doubt.
No doubt.
Another Notre Dame quarterback, not Notre Dame quarterback, Wisconsin quarterback Jack Cohn transferred from the same program with the Notre Dame to finish off his career in a good fashion. So this is a lot of hope. I mean, Wisconsin brought in some studs at quarterback. He was good in the recruiting. We'll see if Billy can fix it. And if he can, there's just another notch on his belt that looks fire, right? First round quarterback and fixing a transfer from Wisconsin that looked like Bonds.
Oh man. All right, let's get into we're gonna stay on quarterbacks here and pause. But do want to give a shout out to our friends over at Home Field Apparel. Go visit them. They are dropping a Missouri line tomorrow. So if you've got friends, family, colleagues, whatever it might be, have them check that out. Always use Stadium and Gale as your promo code. You get 15% off of your order when you do that. But again, homefieldapparel.com. They've got that baseball script uniform logo on a t-shirt. That's great. They have sweaters. They've got 3/4 sleeve shirts, and they've got regular t-shirts. Great material, great brand. Homefieldapparel.com, promo code Stadium and Gale. We're going to stay a little bit on the quarterback position. I do want to talk to you guys a little bit about recruiting for the class of 2024, which is kind of hard to believe. But with that being said, did you guys see the viral clip of DJ Lagway throwing yesterday at let's see, what was it?
Tebow.
Fast seven.
The Fast Seven. So let's
Tebow.
Tebow. So let's do this. Let's present this video. And I want to get y'all's thoughts on it.
You know my thoughts, man. I was hyped and geeked all weekend. It was a beautiful weekend. And I just see my quarterback just making throws that the pros make, man.
All right. So there we've got DJ Lagway throwing. We've got a couple other great little pass and catch there.
Hit the mute on that, Dan. Very loud whistle.
Oh, my apologies. So we got that one, but that's not the one that went viral. I should have looked before. This is the
that was a nice back shoulder throw right there, man. Just those things, those throws, you just can't. You could try to teach them. You know, you could probably get better at it with reps, but to be able to do that at a high school level, the way he does it, the anticipation on some of his throws is, not to bring up a Florida State guy, but it's Jameis Winston-esque.
Yeah, looks off, finds an open guy. There was a little sidearm dart right in there for a touchdown. Guy's built, great size. Obviously showing a lot of composure, great arm speed. The way the ball comes out of his hand is fast. Anthony Richardson had another great clip this weekend as well, showing him throwing the ball on an out route, and just watching Mina Kimes and a lot of the other people that follow the draft very closely compliment him. So Anthony Richardson, I see him in that top 10 spot, like you said, Silk, all along.
Yeah,
always was.
Always was. It was always DJ Lagway.
So DJ Lagway right now on On3 ranked as the number 16 overall player in the country, number 2 quarterback, number 4 in the state of Texas. In recruiting running backs, the Gators obviously have Chauncey Bowens from the Benjamin School down there in Silk's North Palm Beach area. He posted a clip, and we'll share this one as well. Runs a 10.8.
Let's go, man.
100-meter dash. Just an absolutely blazing speed for somebody that's 215 pounds. But let's share this one as well. Nick, I want to hear your thoughts. Where would you finish in this race? Obviously last, but do you think that you could finish within 3 seconds of these guys? There he is.
Yeah, I'm running the sub 1400.
Running a sub 1400. Silk, what do you got yourself at?
I'm within 3 seconds for sure.
I got myself pulling a hamstring at about the 50-meter mark.
215 pounds, 10.8.
I'm pulling my hamstring before they separate. So I'm not pulling my hamstring when they're 6 yards ahead of me. I'm pulling my hamstring probably right out of the blocks, honestly.
Yeah.
Man, I had him.
Y'all lucky. Y'all lucky.
Yeah.
Y'all pulled it.
I was coming, guys. I was like,
Jeez, Lee. We're going to title the show "Yo" because we have about Gators also recruiting Jarrett Gibson. He's down at IMG Academy, originally from Gainesville. Previously committed to the Dan Mullen staff. He's ranked as the number 1 running back in the country right now. I know the Gators are after Anthony Curry from Carrollwood Day here in Tampa, Florida. Stacy Gage as well. Those are probably your big names. Rod Gainey from IMG Academy.
What is the running back from Quinnis? That's my guy. What is the running back from Quinnis? I'm trying to find his name right now.
Stacy Gage.
It's another one. It's not Stacy Gage. It's another one.
It does make sense that St. Thomas has multiple Division 1 running backs.
Matt, I don't have my notepad in front of me right now.
See. I can.
He's like a 3-star. He's starting to get a lot of offers. He's
Jordan Lyle.
Jordan Lyle, that's my guy. That's what I want my second back. Like his film, like his vision, balance. He's a complete running back. I think he would be a good, change his pace to Bowens, who is everything. I see why Georgia's flying helicopters in, and Bama and Georgia are both flying helicopters in, because Bowens is the guy you want at 200 plus pounds running a 10-800 meter. That's a nightmare for defensive backs and defenses to have to stop that, especially with the way that Billy and them run the ball and our offensive line size and what we can do. But we can get Jordan Lyle to come in. I expect his offers not his offers are already up there. I expect his ranking to take a bit of a jump this offseason.
Yeah, pulled up 247. Sorry, Nick. There's just the first link there. 6 foot, 180 pounds. He's been the starting running back, if I remember correctly, before Stacy Gage transferred over to St. Thomas Aquinas. Nice little 1-2 punch there. Right now ranked as their 314th overall best player on the composite, 28th running back. Being recruited by Alabama. Silk, I know that you mentioned some other teams getting involved there, some of the big heavy hitters. And I know, especially before your senior year, look at the interest, look at the people that are offering more so than just the rankings. Florida, FSU, Georgia, Maryland, Michigan State, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Oregon, Penn State. This is a who's who. USC was list of people to be offered. So definitely look out for him as well.
Put a word in for us, Nick. Talk to your people.
I got you.
Is that where they had the dueling helicopter? That was actually the same rented helicopter that showed up on the field. Was that for him?
It was for Bowens.
Oh, it's for Bowen. My apologies. Bowens, I think, is a guy that is going to climb the rankings as well.
Top 75 type of guy, in my opinion. Now, I don't have any say so in the end of this, but I think he's a top 75 type talent. Palm Beach County is absolutely loaded this cycle. I was telling Dan pre-show I've been having random parents hit me up about Florida Gator offers. I'm just like, I don't know who they think I am, but I'll do my part. But it's some absolute dogs in Palm Beach County. It's always some dogs, but this is one of the last 10 years. This is one of them years. Jack Daniels, who was a Gator guy, he's back at Cardinal Newman getting his recruitment on. Yeah, he's at a private school now, getting it off. Got an absolutely loaded roster. They should probably win state champions this coming year. Josh Flostein's on that roster alongside some other guys that we offered. But Benjamin, who we spoke about with Bowens, they also have Ricky Knight, the fourth on that team, and some other guys. And that's also a Gator. Cresser's on that team, so that's also a Gator-driven team. So some of the best teams in Palm Beach County are just Gator guys that's running them. It's a good time to be in the 5-6-1. I
didn't know Jack Daniel was still doing that. I thought he retired. So having him at a private school is a good place to be.
Yeah, Dwight can't pay you like these private schools. You go get your King's Academy, not King's Academy. You get your American Heritage and your St. Thomas Aquinas on in Palm Beach County at Newman. Only thing about Palm Beach County, which is different, like they'll do it all the time in American Heritage and St. Thomas Aquinas, keep recruiting, bringing top kids in. Around here, you'll get Oxbridge that'll be hot for a little bit. Then you'll get Newman that'll be hot for a little bit. But some of these parents are just like, all right, we don't care about football. We want little Johnny to play. So start the recruiting. I don't think that stops with at Cardinal Newman with Jack there. I think Jack's about to build something pretty big. And the way they got it classified now, I don't see nobody stopping them.
I'd like to add an allegedly into those recruiting allegations for St. Thomas Aquinas. Just for
no alleged, Nick.
Allegedly.
No,
I had nobody at St. Thomas Aquinas. We just had Major Wright on
allegedly.
No, I just showed up to a practice and they liked me. Man, get out of here.
Yeah. He just wanted
randomly were in town.
Quality college preparatory education is what Major Wright was after, and football just happened to be something to do after school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Silk, there's a question. Would you take Silk's boy from St. Thomas Aquinas over Jared Gibson?
No, I wouldn't, but I don't think we can get Jared Gibson. I would love Jared Gibson. I think that's a big guy. And I hope I'm wrong, but I think Jared Gibson is going to be one of those. And like I said on previous shows, we got to start weighing out, like NIL wise, how do they value it? How far do you want to take this? You know, like some of these guys, like a DJ Lagway are looking, into the program and trying to build something. And you got to find that balance of NIL and those guys who are with the buy-in. Jared Gibson is going to be, and nothing's wrong with it, but Jared Gibson is going to be a big NIL guy that takes it all the way to the finish line. You're going to be battling the teams that are in the national championship hunt.
Absolutely. I think trending Alabama right now. I know there's some other schools as well.
And I like Bowens over Jared Gibson.
Woo!
Write that down.
Write that down. We're gonna put that clip out there.
5-6-1, man.
Wide receiver. Just run through maybe just offense today. Jeremiah Smith is a guy that I know DJ Lagway is heavily recruiting right now. Committed to Ohio State. Micah Hudson. Let's see. Zion Riggins from Jones County in Gray, Georgia. That looks to be a Florida-South Carolina battle. Bradell Richardson from Carrollwood Day. Florida's recruiting the running back there, like we said. That looks to be a Notre Dame, Florida battle right now. James Randall from Mainland and Daytona Beach. I'll actually be in Daytona Beach this weekend. Any restaurant recommendations? I'll be out there for a wedding. Zacarl Lewis, also from Carrollwood Day. They're stacked over there at Carrollwood Day this year, huh?
A little bit.
BJ Gibson, a lot of names.
I like BJ Gibson.
Yeah, BJ Gibson.
Plays baseball, right? As well, right?
Yep, from Wilcox County in Rochelle, Georgia. Florida is recruiting a lot, obviously, of the top guys in the country right now. Still a long way. Most of the guys that they offered have still not committed anywhere. Jeremiah Smith, they offered Nikar. He's from Colquitt County. He's committed to Georgia. But other than that, if you look at the on-3 rankings, everybody else is not committed right now. At tight end, Florida has offered, obviously, a number. of them, and they don't seem to be trending for any of them right now, as you can imagine. And then offensive tackle Cam Pringle, a guy that Florida was really after. He commits to South Carolina a few weeks ago. But they're still in play for obviously a lot to look out for. And we'll probably spend a little bit more time covering recruiting over the next few weeks. A lot of people have locked in visits over the last few weeks. So we'll dive into that a little bit
Tight end
more.
real quick. I do want to give William Peagler his flowers. He is trending for Walter Matthews, 6'7", 245-pound athlete who we see as a tight end.
Okay.
And he has gone on record as saying that we are recruiting him the hardest. I think he's visiting us in March. South Carolina and some other teams, Georgia, some programs, in Tennessee, some programs he also will visit, but we are trending for him at the tight end position, which is a big need. Do like his size, do like his athleticism.
Florida Peagler about to shove Alex Atkins in the locker, huh?
Hope so. That's size. Like, I wouldn't be surprised, like, especially like how we like to extend and make that tight end more of a blocking guy, bro. Like, with his frame, making him offensive tackle, it's not out of the stretch of my imagination, bro. Like, anything can happen with a kid that big. Wouldn't mind seeing him, if you watch him athletically on film, check out his huddle. Wouldn't mind even seeing him on the defensive side of the ball, but he has a frame and some athleticism that's very appealing.
Absolutely. All right,
if we're judging a book by its cover, William Peagler, not the kind of guy I want to get shoved into a locker by. Looks like someone in high school that might have spent some time in lockers.
All right. Well, we just kissed any chance of getting William Peagler onto the show.
Come and defend yourself, Willie. Come and defend yourself, William.
Yeah, if he comes on the show, I want that to be your first question. How many lockers did you get shoved into in high school?
I got you. Here's my question. Nick and William Peagler in a UFC cage match. Who you got?
I like William.
I like Bill.
Yeah. I like Bill.
I like Bill Peagler.
We got some elbows.
Bill Peagler.
We got elbows.
Bill Peagler. I love that. All right, let's get on to Nick's favorite part of the show. But before we do that, we wanted to give a shout out to our friends over at Alumni Hall. Again, if you are looking for any of the new baseball or softball apparel that they're going to be wearing, check them out there. They also are selling the new, and we'll get into this in a minute, the swimming and diving SEC champions shirts and apparel that they have available. So congratulations to them. Shout out to James Bates, friend of the program. His daughter was on that women's swimming and diving SEC championship team. So congratulations to James Bates in there. But again, alumnihall.com or visit them on Archer Road in beautiful Gainesville, Florida. Again, alumnihall.com. Nick, time to get into baseball, my friend. The Gators rout Charleston Southern 37-5. 2 run rules that they established before the game, before the weekend started, where if the Gators are winning by 10 after the 7th inning.
7. Yep. You got to play
7th inning.
7 complete.
Yep. 7 complete innings. But Gators do beat Charleston Southern 37-5 in a game of offensive, just sheer dominance. But Nick, break down the weekend for us.
37 points is insane in baseball. I don't know if y'all follow. If y'all don't watch baseball, runs. I'm sorry. 37 runs in baseball is absolute points. Runs, like, don't. What are you talking about? It's the same thing, right?
No,
am I disrespecting the game?
Yeah. That'd be like calling like hey, I'm going to the tennis game. Like it's a tennis match. Just the nomenclature. Yeah. Shout out to the runs. 37 runs is a lot.
Shout out to the runs. Probably the only time.
That's what Nick called it, man.
Somebody's gonna be listening to the show right now.
Now I call it runs.
Stomach bug. And
now I call it runs, man. You guys still got jokes, bro. I can't win around here, man.
Someone's got the flu listening to this. We're like, yo, they're talking about me. Shout out to me.
My personal life.
Shout out to the runs. That's an all-time title right there. I thought we had it with the yo, but all right. Shout out to the runs. All right, Nick, break down the 37-5 3-game sweep.
Yeah, I mean, let's just start off Friday night. Brandon Sproat, a little adrenaline running, hits that 100 emoji, breaking the century mark for his velo. Florida's really got, and there's not a Friday night's your ace. That's who you start the weekend off. I don't know that Florida has an ace because you get Hurston Waldrop at the transfer portal from Southern Miss. When he's a guy who's probably going to get picked top 15, top 20 when the MLB draft happens in June. So those are your guys Friday, Saturday night. You feel really good about your chances winning 2 baseball games to start. And then you get Jack Caglianone, my guy Jack Tani, pitching and hitting. He had an okay weekend at the plate, but then he gets the day off from hitting on Sunday. He goes and pitches, and he's sitting 97, 98 from the left side on the mound. He's going to be a guy to watch, and in 2 years, a guy that might be a potential top 5 pick, considering what he can do on the mound and with the bat. So Kevin O'Sullivan was not happy. Kevin O'Sullivan, he was not happy about the 10-run rule. So this year, the SEC is an automatic yes. They are doing a 10-run rule in conference play. Now, it would have only affected one of Florida's games in 2020 or 2022. And so when Kevin O'Sullivan, when you play a non-conference game, the home team has to ask the visiting team, and Sully's an automatic yes. Charleston Southern's coach says yes. And I don't know if that's because maybe they don't have a lot of pitching or they needed to get home, whatever the case may be. They knew the outcome before it happened.
They wanted to go to balls.
But they said yes. So it doesn't allow you, like Florida would have scored more than 37 runs in 3 games if they would have been able to play the 8th and the 9th on Friday and Saturday. It also prevented you from getting some other guys some pinch hitting opportunities or getting a guy an inning or two out of the bullpen. So he was not happy about that. As writers, Friday night, Saturday night, getting out of there early, not playing those extra 4 innings, very exciting for us. But Florida, I think, showed their lineup is really long. And I mean, when you have a guy like Tyler Shelnut, who hit 375 over the weekend, and Ty Evans hitting in like the 7th and 9th holes, it just goes to show you. Ty Evans led the team. He was 6 of 10, hit 600 over the weekend, 4 doubles and 10 RBIs. A monster weekend. BT Rypel, who came back, and Josh Rivera, who came back. Both hit 500. And Josh Rivera only 3 for 6 on the weekend, but worked a lot of walks. 5 walks, was on base at a near 700 clip. And then Mikey Robertson, who's playing center field, he runs like an angel gazelle. Just there's some balls that were hit, and you're like, oh man, that's falling in, and he's not even breaking a sweat, just in like a jogging stride, and gets under it. He's a really, really fun player to watch in center field, and a guy who I didn't see bunt a lot, but I need to see you. If you're running a 6'3", 60, I need to see you put the ball on the ground and force some guys to make some tough plays to get you out of first. But Florida's really deep in the bullpen. Got to see my boy STA Pride, Blake Purnell, and I think they're going to be really deep hitting. You've got a lot of guys that deserve to play. That whoever hits, I guess, this first month are going to get the opportunities. Between Derek Fabian, Cade Kurland, Tyler Shelnut, and Dale Thomas, you got 4 guys to really play 2 positions. In first base, a position where you're going to have BT Rypel and Jack Caglianone playing as well. So this first month of the season, you've got 5 games a week. You play Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So these bags under my eyes are only going to get bigger. But it should be fun as Florida goes down to play USF on Tuesday and Wednesday. USF's favorite baseball writer right here. I might have to drive into the smoke on Tuesday.
We'd welcome you here to Tampa. Gators do, like Nick said, play at USF tomorrow. They play South Florida in Gainesville on Wednesday, and then they kick off a 3-game stretch against Cincinnati. So, Nick, is it far-fetched to believe that the Gators should go 5-0 this week?
Don't know much about Cincinnati. Other
than their chili is trash.
Terrible chili. Terrible. The entire state of Ohio. Terrible chili.
Looks trash, but I haven't tried it, so I won't judge it.
It's trash.
I'll take your word for it, but I still got to try it one day.
So the Gators play Cincinnati, then have 2 games next week against Jacksonville, and then they have that Miami homestand in Gainesville. So
tickets are selling out for that. I was buying Dad some tickets because we have a bridal shower. So needed the men to get out of the house for the bridal shower that March 4th. Got Dad tickets to the game. Tickets are selling out for that Florida Miami game. So if you're planning on coming up, which Silk, you said you were.
It was supposed to be a Stadium and Gale trip, but I'll pull the fuck up. I'm sorry. I'll pull up if you got the tickets. You know what I'm saying?
I might be able to make it March 3rd.
I'll pull up. What's
pull
up,
up,
man?
You got Berm tickets. March 3rd, Berm tickets, Friday night at Contra Family Ballpark.
You gotta tell me no more. I'll be there. Me and my guy Lion, man. My son on deck as well. We pulling up.
Let me see if we can't pull that off. Got a wedding the next day, but that's not out of the cards. Gators
wedding and not a bender is new. I like that. I like that for you.
Yeah,
he is a bender. Wedding can be a bender.
It can be.
I got one this weekend. Gators have a announced attendance for opening weekend of 18,043. Seems solid, Nick. I know the weather wasn't great in Gainesville on Friday.
Friday was rough.
But especially playing, Charleston Southern, obviously not a huge marquee matchup. But how much does the baseball stadium hold there, Nick?
So it depends on if the fire marshal is in town or not, because they don't really stop selling those Berm tickets. And the Berm, it's really a great place. If you're at the ballpark, the berm, especially in like left field and right field, you're right on top of the field. Like you can stand up against the fence. So it's a cool spot to watch. Shout out to Velo. I've hung out on the berm with him a couple times, and Chris. You just bring a blanket, throw it down on the grass, and you're sitting there, get a beverage in your hand, Silk, and just enjoy baseball. So I think the stadium holds less in terms of seats than McKeithen did, but you can really pack them in there on the berm, and then in the outfield. And in the outfield, they have food trucks, and there's a bar out there. So not to sound like a shill or like I'm carrying the Florida's water here, but it's a great place to watch a game. You don't really need to pay the $100-something to sit up in the club section to see Florida Miami. You can pay $10, get inside the park and walk around the whole stadium.
Vibe out.
I think you'll see upwards of 7,500, 8,000 for the Miami series, because I know a lot of Miami fans are coming up for that weekend.
Interesting, because I always say there's nothing to do in Gainesville. So
yeah. And then if you and then let's say if you had like a super regional, Florida State super regional, you could probably see around 10,000 at the ballpark.
Wow.
But there's only like 4,500 seats.
But obviously great performance this weekend for the Florida Gators baseball team. Really just hitting on all cylinders. In other news, let's run into a Dan Knows Gators segment. Appreciate Nick for bringing that up earlier. Do want to announce Colin Castleton broke his hand in the Gators win over Ole Miss in the middle of the week last week, and he will be out for the season. Gators do lose to Arkansas on Saturday in a game which they weren't really, involved in very much. Lose by, I believe, 20 or 21 points there. Gators down to 53 in the net rankings. Florida has a lot of work to do to try to make the NCAA tournament. Let's see. In other news, Gators in the XFL. XFL kicked off the other day. Did you guys watch any of this new Dwayne Johnson-owned XFL?
I
haven't, but I am going to start to, man. Like, it's a lot of Gators playing in it in their Orlando team. Didn't check out any this weekend, though. Did you?
No, I did not. But there's a lot of new rules, some interesting things. I'm curious to see if they bring them over to the NFL in terms of some kickoffs, in terms of some onside kick. There's just some interesting rules. Should be an interesting thing to watch. Silk, you mentioned that Orlando team. Matt Elam, Johnny Townsend, and Kelvin Taylor are on that team. Will Hill, a name that we already mentioned once on this podcast, but he plays for the Arlington Renegades, and Josh Hammond is on the DC Defenders. So 5 former Gators playing, and then Ron Zook is the defensive coordinator for the Seattle Sea Dragons.
The
Zucker. Bounced around a bit after leaving Florida.
Green Bay, Illinois, where else?
Green Bay, Illinois. He sold insurance for a little while in Ocala. And then back, I think he went up to Maryland again, back defensive coordinator for the Seattle Sea Dragons. We already mentioned it before as well, but the Florida men's and women's swimming and diving team both won the SEC championship, ranked 5th and 6th, respectively, in the country right now. This is the first time they both won in the same season since 1993, but this is the 11th straight SEC championship for the men's team. So congratulations to them. Softball is also doing what they need to do on the field. They are now 10-0. They beat Jacksonville 13-2 and 11-0 during the week. And then they played in the T-Mobile tournament where they went 5-0, beating UConn twice, Bowling Green, Delaware, and Central Michigan by a combined score of 53-12. Gymnastics, unfortunately. Yeah, a lot of points on the scoreboard there. Gymnastics suffered their first loss in a tri meet, I believe is what they're called. So they beat Missouri, but they do lose to LSU 198.1 to 197.975. Gators gymnastics right now is 8-1 on the season. Fred Biondi, men's golfer, is currently ranked 3rd in the PGA Tour University Velocity Global Rankings. So congratulations to him on a great start to his senior season. And Ricky Castillo is ranked number 14th overall in those same rankings, which does, as you can imagine, rank all university golfers.
Let me interrupt you real quick, Dan.
Yep.
I think we need to apply for credentials to cover the amateur at Augusta, the Amateur Masters.
I'm interested.
Should have a gator in that.
I don't know what's going on, but
I'm going to apply. We need silk at Augusta.
I can see Silk thriving at Augusta with a nice little pimento cheese sandwich.
Oh, beautiful.
A lot of trees, so I could duck off and do what I got to do.
Yeah. A lot of trees for your trees.
For sure. I'm with you, Augusta. Hey, and all the fans that's listening to this, I am going to that game. I'm going to pull up for the Miami series. If you're around, you're in town, pull up, holler at us, chop it up, same corner, same time. But
we got to get with Zika, and we'll do a little meet and greet at White Buff.
Why not?
Let's do it.
Baseball, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You got spring football that weekend opening up.
We can do a pop-up.
Gale.
White Buff is with it.
White Buff.
I need a big table, though.
The last time we were at White Buff, we got that big table. Shout out to Nick and Zika for that. Harrison pulled out. We had a whole crew up there.
Oh, y'all wouldn't got the big table without your boy, huh? That's how
y'all feel? You were not in town, so
you guys shouldn't have got the big table then. The small table, if I'm not here.
What was that? That was a Tennessee game. That was a Tennessee game in 2020. What year are we now? 23, so 21 in the Tennessee games. So that was a fun weekend. And then finally, friend of the program, friend of all three of ours, Brian Johnson, former quarterback coach of the University of Florida and co-offensive coordinator, quarterback coach for the Philadelphia Eagles, is now the new offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh,
oh man,
yeah, it must have just been a contract dispute because I thought he was already in Coral Gables.
Yeah,
that's what they told me.
I've got a really good friend of mine, Taylor. He's a South Carolina grad, and he was assured that they were going to get Brian Johnson. And I said, buddy, no offense to South Carolina. But there is not a snowball's chance in hell that Brian Johnson is going to be your new offensive coordinator.
Wasn't leaving Philadelphia to go be Shane Beamer's OC?
I didn't see it happening. So.
Not going out on a limb at all, and not guessing at all when I say Brian Johnson does not want to participate in recruiting or NIL. So college football may not be a thing in his future. I think pros is where it's at for him.
All right, gentlemen, I think that brings us to the end of our show. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. Where'd it go? We were talking baseball, and I completely slipped my mind here. I'll share my screen. Nick put up a list.
$17 for chicken tenders and French fries.
Okay, this is big for me. I've had mine picked out. All right, so these are the walk-up songs. And I got a little help this year. You know, I used to have to sit there on a Friday night, Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon with Shazam on the phone, which messed up my whole algorithm in terms of music because I don't need all that. But these are walk-up songs for Florida's players, and some guys have 2, Shout out to Buddy Reed. Buddy Reed went diva on us as a junior. He had 5 different walk-up songs depending on the day. Everyone's got walk-up songs and pitchers. If you're a pitcher on that list, your song is when you come into the game.
All right, so let's run through this. Chris Brown is certainly a choice. This is pre everything that he had, but that's certainly going out. You want a limb there. But we've got a lot of different music here. We've got W&W Hardwell and Lil Jon. That's a little EDM rap mix there. I'll be honest with you, though. Nick Silk, I might need your help on some of these. I don't know about a third of these artists.
They're getting old, bro.
So Black Sabbath, obviously, everybody knows them. Alt J, popular.
So, Colby Halter's got, I think, so as baseball players are superstitious, I think Colby Halter's got to change that song. Had a off year at the plate last year. It had a really tough opening weekend. I don't think Left Hand Free has any hits in it. You gotta find a song that has some hits in it.
Yeah, let's see. So Motley Crue, we go to El Alpha, Dire Straits. Now, Nick, are some of these songs for freshmen picked by the older members of the team? Is that what I was reading?
They pick. Okay, they pick. So BT Riot Pal, Party in the USA, Miley Cyrus. First off, banger, really gets the people going. Yeah, but that was picked for him when he was I think a freshman at Coastal Carolina, and the older players picked it for him, thought it'd be funny, and he's just rocked with it. He's kept it. 4th year in college now. Miley Cyrus, Party in the USA. I would like to get the remix of Biggie on it.
Yeah.
Get a little Biggie verse in there, but that is it's a fan favorite.
I can see that. We've got.
I would NIL my my walk up song, right? I would auction it off.
Still could be walking up to Whopper, double Whopper. He's like, yeah, Burger King's paying for that every time I come up to the plate.
No, it would be a fan experience. I wouldn't make it corporate, but I would go like to the fans, like they could buy my whatever or whatever it may be. Kind of like a shout out. But I would switch up my walk up song as long as it's respectable. I won't be walking up to like
one of those mod
Doja
songs.
Cat or nothing like that.
Oh. Let's see. Hips Don't Lie, Pierce Capola.
This is crazy. This is a lot of mid walk up songs.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not super impressed. Big Papa by Notorious B.I.G. This song, where'd it go? Devil Wears a Suit and Tie by Coulter Wall. He's got a real Johnny Cash style voice, country music artist from, I believe, Edmonton, Canada. He's got a real deep voice. Good song. Sandstorm by Darude is probably a song that's going to get everybody hype as well.
Need to talk about Yoel. So Yoel maybe doesn't know a lot about the Gators and their rivals or the teams they play. That Calabria is a song that the University of Miami plays every single game. Their players sit up on top of the dugout and they clap to the beat, and the entire stadium claps to the beat. So that's his song that'll come up when he's hitting. And then Sunday he came into pitch, and Sandstorm comes on. Obviously, a big South Carolina football tradition. So.
If you don't even listen to electronic music, EDM, Sandstorm. That song's been around since, I believe, the early 90s. We got Future on here, Last Breath. Silk.
Not mad at that one. Not mad at Future, Last Breath. A lot of other Future songs I would like, but I ain't mad at that one.
Might as Well by Future is on here as well.
Yeah, Luke caught on Sunday, so we got to hear that a couple times on Sunday.
Careless Whisper is, probably got the people going.
Hilarious. Eric didn't hit this week, but I'm waiting for Careless Whisper.
Absolutely.
And here's one about Blake. So Blake Purnell comes in out of the bullpen. So the public service announcement is perfect for a guy coming out of the bullpen. By the time he's running out of the gate, he's in the outfield, and you hear the "Allow me to reintroduce myself."
You see Christy, I'm sorry, what am I talking about? Trinity Thomas used, we suggested that on the show, and then her next routine, she goes to do her flow routine, and she landed her thing to "My name is Hove." She landed a flip to that shit. It was just fire, man.
I'll see if I can find that while we're scrolling down here. Uproar by Lil Wayne, good song, but probably not one of my top 15, 20 Lil Wayne songs. As you guys know, big Lil Wayne fan over here.
sure.
But not a, not a terrible song. Fireman, obviously a song that everybody knows. But I'm going to be honest with you, Nick. We picked some artists on here where we went way down on their track list to find a pretty mid song. So let it be known that the three of us would be more than happy to review songs for next year. In 3 or 4 different genres of music. Nick, you listen to a lot. Silk, obviously you're the hip hop guy. I can be the country music guy, just to open some eyeballs,
Not a single sea shanty on this entire list.
Are you surprised?
Give me your walk-up song, guys.
All right, so I've put a lot of thought into this. I'll give you give my spiel here. Let you guys
you did put thought into this?
let you guys think. I'm a baseball guy, so I've thought about this for a while. I would go with Vanessa Carlton, 1,000 Miles.
My God.
That little it's about getting me in the right mindset, nice chill song. The fans will love it. We're getting the fans involved into me as I'm walking up and getting ready for the at-bat. Vanessa Carlton, 1,000 Miles. Rocking like BT.
Yeah, with it, Dan.
I mean, I haven't done any thought into this. What I think would be fun would be I think we played it on the show a few weeks ago, is the Timmy Trumpet version of Sweet Caroline. You get everybody singing along, then you throw some EDM in there. But I'll be honest with you, I'd probably throw maybe a Mike and the Moon Pies song on there. An Eric Church.
Pies, huh?
I'd have to do a little bit of thinking. Lil Wayne obviously has some bangers from back in the day. You can do some swag surfing.
Karsten Finvold walking out to Fireman as a left-hander who maybe throws 83 miles an hour is some beautiful choice there.
That is a beautiful choice there. All right. Silk, I'm going to pull that clip up for you for training time. Silk, what would your song be?
I think like right now, I have like a little pre-list before I pod, man. So I lead it with Big Boss Rabbit, Freddie Gibbs, bro. So little Freddie Gibbs, Big Boss Rabbit. That'd be my joint.
I know if I was pitching on like a Tuesday, I might play It's Going Up on a Tuesday. That might be my Tuesday walk-up song.
I like that one.
Can't beat it. But maybe next week I'll put a little more thought into it. And maybe next week we do it. And Silk, I'm gonna try to pull up this video real quick of Trinity that you sent. Any final thoughts before we get into the end of the show?
Nah, if you haven't checked that Billy Napier interview out, go check it out again. If you watched it, go watch it again is what I was gonna say. Text it to your mama, let her watch it, have her text it to your grandma, have her watch it, and then tell your grandpa about it. I know he probably ain't got no phone and YouTube and all that, but take your phone over there and let him watch it as well.
Here we are. We're showing this on YouTube. Check it out. We'll do it right after she lands. Can you guys hear that on your end?
Allow me to introduce myself. My name is.
I mean, that's some elite gymnastic movement right there.
And
Mama, there goes that woman.
At least suggestion by my man Nick, man. You suggested it on the show. Next performance, she out there with it, man. Same corner, same time, man. Shout
out to Trend.
All right,
that's just Stadium and Gale, just directing the culture.
That's it, bro. Just making moves out here a little bit, man.
It's just
in
what
the
we
gymnastics,
do,
man. Just part of routines.
An elite gymnastics podcast.
An elite gymnastics podcast. Always has been. That's right. Silk, you have the song of the week. Everybody, again, thanks for listening. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button for us, please. It costs nothing to show just a little bit of love. Please hit that subscribe button. Please turn notifications on. We are recording now on Monday mornings for the most part. Super excited. We're going to be bringing on Tim Moore, who you guys probably have seen a lot about View. He is the CEO of View Productions as well as Diamond View Studios here in Tampa. He'll be coming on in the next few weeks. We have a couple of former Florida Gator legends coming on soon. Talking with one that was in the Super Bowl. So that would be fun. A good listen for that one. Hopefully we can get that squared away here soon. And then follow us on Twitter We're on Facebook as well. Don't do a lot there. Going to start doing more. But again, we appreciate everybody for listening each and every week. And Silk, you have the song of the week, my friend.
Let me get some AZ, Rick Ross, Never Enough. Some vibes. Same corner, same time.
Same corner, same time. We'll see you boys next week. Thanks for everybody for tuning in, and we will see you at the same corner and same time next week.